Hello everyone, how you doing? It's been a while since I shot a video. Thought I'd film one in my game room. As it stands right now, I finally got all the games out of my house and into a game room of sorts in my garage. I put in an insulated garage door and tied some heating and AC into the existing unit that feeds my house. So I've got all that covered out here, AC being very important living in Florida. I'm just going to walk you through my current lineup. James Bond. Starting over here, when you walk in, I got Judge Dredd. This is the second Judge Dredd I've had. And he's kind of, the pinball machine's kind of what got me into the character. You can see I've got a bunch of Judge Dredd memorabilia all over the walls. The magazines that line the walls on both sides of the game room are all Judge Dredd magazines. And I knew of the character. I'd seen the terrible Stallone movie in 1995. But I never really got into it until I'd played the game, and I really dig the game, and it just kind of got me interested in the character, and I read up on all the old comics and have been following it for a couple of years now. Like I said, this is the second one I've had. The first one had a kind of a rough cabinet. This one's much nicer, and can't see myself selling this game. This is definitely a keeper with just how much I love the character, and I think it's an outstanding game. It's kind of still undervalued in my eyes. They can be had for around $2,000 right now, which is a lot more than what they used to go for, but everything's jumped up in price recently, but I still think it's a steal at the current prices they go for. This is Batman Forever, done by Sega. I believe this was 95, I want to say. This is the first and only Batman Forever I've had, and probably ever will have. I do like the game. It's pretty cool. It's definitely one of the better Segas. I like Batman and all that kind of stuff, but I guess the theme just isn't my cup of tea, that it's based on a terrible Batman movie. I do think it is the best of the three pinball machines. The first one was based on the original Batman Michael Keaton movie. This one, and then The Dark Knight by Stern much later, has a cool little cannon toy that probably one of the best cannons as far as what you can do with it. The one in T2 and AC/DC kind of limited to the shots you can make with it, but the one on Batman Forever has a really wide swing. You can shoot about 4 different shots over there, ramp shots or outlanes, and you can shoot targets as well. It's well implemented, really steep, colorful ramps. It's very vivid, very colorful, well drawn and laid out. This is definitely the next game on the chopping block. But it's a good game. I'd recommend it. You got to be a Batman fan though to really dig the game, which I'm really not. He's not my absolute favorite. Next to that, another Sega, GoldenEye 007. My favorite James Bond movie until very recently when Skyfall came out. I pulled this game off route. A Jamaican guy that ran a ice cream parlor had this game set up, and he had it for sale on Craigslist, or a friend of mine told me about it or whatnot. Anyway, I went down there as fast as I could to take a look at it. I wanted to try the game out, and to my amazement, the game is in fantastic shape. The cabinet is really red, it's not faded, and that's a big problem pretty much all over the country, with games having faded cabinets being in direct sunlight, but especially in Florida, with it being bright all the time. But in really nice shape. I picked this one up. I traded it after about 6 months to a guy down in Miami, and I think this was like his first big project game. He went crazy with it. He sent the game off, the ramps and some of the mechanisms off to Mike Chestnut, who's the go-to guy for brass plating and chroming stuff, and he brass plated the rails on. You can see there's a nice shine to that. The housing of the satellite dish that moves around, also brass plated, looks really nice. There's very little he didn't brass plate inside of it. It's an extremely nice example of the game, and it's one I'm hesitant to get rid of because I do really like the game. It's a little on the simple side and repetitive, but I don't know, when you find a game, an older game like this in this good a shape, it's hard to give it away, because if you want it again, you're going to get a lesser example, and I don't know. It's a really cool game. Like I said, I don't think I'll be getting rid of it, maybe for the right trade or something down the line, but I'd be hesitant to. Next to this, the third Sega game that I've got, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. This is one of the large D&D games, along with Batman Forever, Baywatch, and Maverick. This one's in okay shape. This is the second one I've had. Got this from a friend of mine. Actually, I guess it's been a year now. I don't know why this really isn't that big of a game, not very popular, kind of mid-price range game, but for my money, it's one of the best I've played. I just really love the theme, the artwork, the music, the modes. It's got a very similar layout to Jurassic Park, Funhouse, X-Men, Tron, that kind of thing. As far as where the pop bumpers, scoops, and the main shots are located. I think the theme and the artwork I think is really well done, and it's a favorite of mine. That's why I like it so much. But definitely a really cool game. Well, you could make me a stupid offer on this one. I'd turn it down. I will not be letting go of this game. Another horror pin beside it. This is Bram Stoker's Dracula. This is the game I've had the most as far as buying and selling it over and over. This is the fourth one I've had. And the one I have currently is not a perfect example. There's a couple little scrapes and stuff on it. But the sides are really red. It's faded in the front, but big deal. Threw a topper on there, aftermarket, but I think it looks really nice. Playfield's in nice shape on this one. Has the prototype plastics on the slingshot. Really hard game. Again, it's not the deepest game. There's not a whole lot to it, but actually stacking the 3 multi-balls together and scoring well on it is a really big challenge. It's a very short game, very difficult. Big fan of it. Based on a really cool movie. The artwork's not the best, but it looks okay overall. It's an interesting game. It's one that's shot up in value, surprisingly, since I've gotten into the hobby. In 2010, the prices currently are almost double what they started out when I first got into it. But it's a game I think deserves the higher price it's commanding these days. I've always thought it was undervalued. Over here you can see I got this big old T2 banner over here next to the T2 pinball machine. Favorite movie of all time, and this is one of the games I remember playing growing up as a kid in arcades, so I had to get my hands on one. This is my third T2, and about as close as I want as far as condition-wise. Very simple game. It doesn't even really feel like a D&D game with how simple it is, but it's a lot of fun. It's just a classic layout, and I love the sound effects and voice call-outs and everything. I just have committed to memory, and just a game I've always won around. A lot of nostalgia tied to this one. Next to it is Terminator 3 by Stern, which was done in 2003 at a time with that movie coming out. Gameplay-wise, there's a lot more modes and a lot more stuff going on to work for on T2. It's not a very popular game. T2 has a pretty big following. T3 not so much. If I had to pick one game just for how fun it is alone, I would go with T3. A lot of people would disagree with me on that one though. It's butt ugly, as you can see on the playfield. It's really, really ugly. But lots of metal ramps. It's just a loaded game. It has a nice layout. It's very smooth, very fast. Another good Steve Ritchie game. Also has this weird back box game in the Translite, which it's kind of interesting. It's a nice gimmick, but it's a pretty cool game. Still be had for a decent amount. Next to it I have The Avengers, also by Stern. This is the Pro model that's missing the additional ramp and some drop targets over here. There's stand-up targets on the Pro. Not a lot of huge differences between the Pro and LA, at least not for the price difference, I don't believe. Has a cool little spinning cube similar to Tales of the Arabian Nights. Cool bash toy with the hole that has a magnet underneath him that throws it around. The hands move around and can hit it as well. A lot of stuff going on in this game. Very difficult to do well on it, involving stacking all the characters together and working toward a wizard mode. Very challenging. It's a good game. It didn't really take off. It's not very popular, which I was kind of surprised by, but I'm glad I got mine when I did. Next to that, this is Jackbot. The only game never to leave my collection. I got this at December of 2010. It was the second game I ever got, and this one's never left my home. I just can't let go of it. If I ever find one that's not faded, you can see this is all yellow and ugly over here. If I can find an unfaded one, I will replace this with a nicer example. If they ever come out with cabinet decals, I'll definitely redo it. But It's kind of a casino gambling theme mixed with space and science fiction. And it's kind of similar to Dracula in that it's very difficult to do well on. If you miss one shot, the ball is going to go wild and very likely drain. It's very unforgiving and short, which is why I think I like it. When you have a good game on it, you feel like you've really accomplished something. And after that, I have The Bride of Pinball, which was the first game I got. This is the second example of a game I've had, better than the first one, which was absolutely beat. Still waiting on the reproduction playfield for this one. This one has a huge mark where someone dropped a soldering iron or something on the playfield and burnt it down through the mylar to the wood, and the typical wear to the wood where the ball drops off the ramps. But it's a beautiful game. I love the music, the sound effects, just the presentation of this game I feel is top notch, and can compete with any modern DMD game just as far as the looks and just the game as a package. Really cool game. Also got a tattoo of the artwork here on the bat marks on my left arm. Really big fan of this game. And they recently, some guys in another country, they recently redid the game, redid the rules, and put a DMD into it, did custom animations, and went all out on it. That should be coming out pretty soon as far as I understand. And that's about it. Got some autographs up here from various things. Dracula, Gary Oldman, and Kristana Loken from Terminator 3 tying into the games, and just some random stuff. I got them up on the walls over here. But that's a look around the game room. Don't expect it to really change much as far as the lineup goes. I think I have enough room for one more game on each wall. You can see there's a decent amount of space between each game. So I'll probably have one more on each for a total of 12 eventually. Batman Forever is really the only one I see moving for the right trade. Or if a game comes up for sale, I'll just sell it outright for cash and buy something else. But everything else I can see having a permanent spot here. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.